Start video. Get this. Stop. Stop video. Good morning. Sorry to put everybody in the cone of silence. I may have started us a little too early, but Bridget, who's really in charge of everything at IHL, told me I can't start before 9 o'clock or we'd be doing something wrong. So we're going to try to do things the right way. So I call this meeting to order. And good morning, everyone. This is the May meeting of the Board of Trustees. All of our trustees are present either personally or virtually. So Trustee Hubbard and Trustee Rader are participating virtually, and I appreciate them participating in that way for us. Trustee Stevenson, if you would provide an invocation for us this morning.
Happy to. Please bow your heads in prayer. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank everyone gathered here today, and we thank you for bringing us together. We acknowledge your presence and pray that you will give us strength, wisdom, courage, inspiration, direction, and humility as we work toward decisions that impact our state and especially our young people. We ask that you help and remind us to work with a sense of unity and common purpose. Remind us not to be judgmental, but rather to provide steady and consistent leadership. Bless our time and guide our thoughts. We continue to pray for the leaders of our nation and of our state. And we pray especially for our educators, and we pray that they will continue to be a positive and guiding and nurturing influence on our young people. We ask that you bless each of us with hope and strength and guard over our minds and hearts as we go about the board's business. Thank you for mercy and grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Trustee Stevenson. At this time, I welcome Dr. Denise Jones-Gregory to our meeting. She's the interim president at Jackson State University. It's her first IHL board meeting, and we look forward to working with you, Dr. Gregory. Because many of our students have left their campuses and gone home, I'm not sure we look like we have one SGA person or student government person. If you would, please, if you would stand up and use the microphone and introduce yourself to us, and we're glad to have you today.
Hello, everyone. I am Carolina Heathcock. I am a junior from Waynesboro, Mississippi, pursuing a degree in wildlife fisheries and aquaculture, and I represent Mississippi State University's Student Association as their vice president.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and you can tell all your counterparts at all the universities that you stood up for them today. Has everyone reviewed the minutes of the April meeting? If so, is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve the meetings. Is there any minutes of the meeting? Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, if all in favor would say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Trustee Rader?
Aye.
The motion passes. So moving forward, I've asked each of our institutional executive officers that we call IEOs to provide us with a 10 to 15-minute presentation of their university rather than us having a short glimpse of the universities that we have done from time to time. So I'm going to invite Dr. Tracy Cook, who is the president of Alcorn State University, to provide you with a more in-depth understanding of his university. And if you don't know Dr. Cook, he served in this role for over a year. Prior to that, he was a vice president at Alcorn. He has over 25 years of experience in educational leadership and administration. And more importantly, to those of Alcorn, he was the top 50 greatest football athletes of all time. So, Dr. Cook, we're glad to have you. Thank you for participating today.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman, other trustees, Commissioner Rankin, board staff, my colleagues, visitors. Thank you for this opportunity for me to provide an overview and to share some good news on behalf of Alcorn State University. Alcorn has a rich history that extends over 154 years as the nation's first public historical Black land-grant university in the United States and is the second oldest state-supported institution of higher learning in Mississippi. Just think about it. Tucked away in the southwest corner of Mississippi is a mighty institution that has stood the test of time for over a century. Our campus landscape covers 1,871 plus acres of land. We operate roughly about 400 acres. We are a self-sufficient gated community that has its own police and fire departments, EMT, wastewater and water treatment facilities, 9 student residential life buildings on the main campus and 1 on the Natchez campus with a bed capacity of 1,998. We are Division I, a part of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, better known as the SWAC. Our mission is just like all my other colleagues, to provide access and an opportunity for our students to excel educationally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to build character while we provide the best living, learning environment so they can overcome barriers and become productive leaders who make meaningful contributions to society. Alcorn's motto is, where knowledge and character matter. We offer a range of undergraduate and graduate programs, including fine arts, business, humanities, social, and behavior sciences, and STEM. The university has improved its overall rankings amongst regional universities in the South, moving up to the 51 spot. This advancement underscores Alcorn's ongoing dedication to provide a high-quality education and enhancing its academic programs. As number 22 in the top public schools in the region, and we are number 31 amongst historically Black colleges and universities. The university also saw a change in its ranking for the top performance in social mobility category, now at number 47 for regional universities. Our School of Nursing jumped 52 spots to secure the 77th position in U.S. News and World Report's 2024 Best Online Nursing Program. Last year, the School of Nursing ranked 129. They also has the second highest ranking in Mississippi. Niche ranked Alcorn number 2 in 2025 Best HBCU Schools in America, moving from the number 3 spot from last year's rankings. Alcorn State has experienced an increase in enrollment numbers. We welcome over 100 new students for the 2024-25 academic year, reaching that 3,000 mark. Our student population consists of 67% females, 33% males, 10.6% are legacy students. Our faculty student ratio is 16-1. 80% of our students are Pell eligible. We offer 45 degree programs, which consist of 1 associate, 29 bachelors, 14 masters, and 1 doctoral. Our students represent 71 counties in Mississippi, 36 states in the United States, and 13 countries. Accreditation Commission for Education and Nursing. Alcorn Nursing has received accreditation through 2028 for its Master Nursing Program and Postmaster Certificate. The university has earned Research Colleges and University designation under the 2025 Carnegie Research Classification. This recognition placed Alcorn amongst 216 institutions nationwide that demonstrate significant research activities while maintaining a strong commitment to teaching. Alcorn stands as only 2 institutions in Mississippi to receive a research designation in this category. Next stop, R2. This slide provides analysis of our restricted research awards for the fiscal year 2025. The analysis revealed a total of 112 projects with a combined value of $101,425,101.98. Of these, 33 projects are classified as research projects, and the remaining 79 projects are classified as non-research projects. These projects span across multiple departments, ranging from Farmers Policy Center, bee pollination studies, to sweet potato research, to name a few. NCAA Academic Progress Rate, better known as APR. No team received penalties or postseason ineligibility. The APR benchmark that must be met by teams is 930. All teams range from 941 to 1,000 APRs, with a departmental average of 963. These scores place Alcorn State in the top tier of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Our highlights include, we have that 37 is actually 46 of our student athletes with a term GPA of 4.0, and that 8 is actually 13 student athletes with a cum GPA of 4.0. 157 of our student athletes with a term GPA of 3.0. 176 of our student athletes with a cum GPA of 3.0. In addition, we have 5 sports with a team GPA above 3.40. That's women and men tennis, men's cross country, women basketball, and softball. On Saturday, May the 10th, 2025, Alcorn had 2 commencements, one at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Our speaker of the hour was Representative Gregory Holloway, and special thanks to the IHL Board of Trustees. Mr. Griffin and Commissioner Rankins, who attended the program. We had 344 total undergraduates and 87 graduate studies, a total of 432. Miss Medina McKenzie, who's 90 years younger, was one of my special commencement guests. She dropped her first child off at Alcorn in 1976, followed by two others, a total of 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, all attended Alcorn. She was there to witness her baby daughter receiving her DNP from the School of Nursing. Vicksburg, Mississippi native Destiny Mayfield, a senior biology pre-med major, received a Student Award of Excellence. She received a plaque and a $5,000 stipend. This honor recognizes students from their contributions and achievement in scholarship, demonstrating leadership, participating in extracurricular activities, and a record of community and public service. Dr. Fred Earl Kinsey Jr., a born certified emergency physician and Alcorn State alumnus, was honored with the Alcornite of the Year. The Jackson, Mississippi native is a community emergency physician at the Baptist Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi, and is assistant professor at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Each spring commencement, we honor our golden anniversary class. As of today, this class of 1975 had the largest register of attendees of 139, and they presented the university with an endowment check. I know they have 157,000, but the total I received so far is $159,684.04 and counting. Alcorn's campus police chief, Douglas Stewart, is a member of the class of 1975. He's also been employed with the university for 15 years. And in closing, I was honored to present my mother with her golden diploma. Miss Alice Cook Sherman, again, I want to thank you for allowing me to share some good news on behalf of my beloved Alcorn State University.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cook. You've set a high bar for all these other IEOs to follow, and I'm sure other than you, the rest of us all learned some good things about Alcorn that we didn't know, and we appreciate that. Next are our consent agendas. Are there any items that need to be moved to the regular agenda for consideration? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve our consent agendas? It's been a motion. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? If not, if all in favor of the motion would say aye. Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Trustee Rader?
Aye.
The motion passes. Trustee Hubbard, at this time, if you would present the Academic Affairs regular agenda.
Yes, thank you. Academic Affairs has 4 items on the regular agenda. The first item on the agenda is the annual nursing report and the status of accreditation for each nursing program in the state. The board will be asked to approve the accreditation statuses. Dr. Melissa Temple will present this information for the board's consideration.
Good morning. Thank you, Trustee Hubbard. I have the annual report in the 2025 approval of accreditation of Mississippi nursing degree programs. As the regulatory authority for accreditation of schools of nursing in the state of Mississippi, the Office of Academic and Student Affairs Nursing Education oversees the development, implementation, and evaluation of new and existing schools of nursing, community colleges, public and private, in the state. Deans and directors of schools of nursing submit an annual report for review by IHL. In addition, schools of nursing are required to be nationally accredited, and state site visits take place concurrently with the national accrediting team. For the next agenda item, you have been provided with handouts in a folder that provides summaries of the current state of nursing in Mississippi based on nursing education data from IHL, licensure data from the Mississippi Board of Nursing, and workforce data from the Mississippi Center for Quality and Workforce. Handout 1 is Mississippi licensure and degree statistics. Table 1 is the number of active RN licenses, and you can see that these have decreased by 840 from 2024. Registered nurses in Mississippi, they renew their license every 2 years in even years. Therefore, renewals were due by December 31st, 2024. So what we see may be the number of nurses who either left the state, retired, and or opted to not renew because they left the workforce. Even though we do see a decline from 2024 to 2025, we have added to the workforce since we saw that low in the emergency phase of the pandemic. The number of nurse practitioners in the state continues to climb. The number has increased by more than 1,800 since 2021. We have seen an increase in certified registered nurse anesthetists, CRNAs, from 2021 to 2024. However, this year we did see a slight decrease by 25. When looking at licensure statistics by degree, we continue to see the number of nurses with bachelor's degrees increase, widening the gap between associate degree prepared nurses and bachelor's degree prepared nurses in the state, which is consistent with the national trend. According to the licensure statistics, nurses prepared with a graduate degree have increased over the past 5 years, so that we now have over 10,000 nurses prepared with graduate degrees. Handout 2 is a summary of nursing programs in the state for the academic year 2024-2025. Table 1, you can see that we have 25 institutions with schools of nursing offering 41 degree programs. Table 2 is nursing education data for the 2023-2024 year. During the 2023-24 academic year, there were 3,847 overall admissions as compared to 3,865 for the previous year. That's a very slight drop, but this is the third consecutive year of seeing a drop in overall admissions. They have decreased by 5.9% since 2019-2020 academic year. When evaluating each degree level, decreases have been seen in the associate degree level and the baccalaureate degree level, while graduate programs have experienced an increase. In the fall of 2024, there were 5,888 students enrolled as compared to 5,810 for the previous year. Our enrollment continues to climb post the emergency phase of the pandemic. There has been an increase at all levels except for the baccalaureate. The 5-year trend from fall 20 to fall 24 has an overall increase of 1%. If you turn on the back, you'll see a summary about graduates during the 2023-24 academic year. There were 2,732 graduates as compared to 2,638 for the previous academic year. And this is the third consecutive year of an overall increase. The 5-year trend shows an increase at each degree level except for the baccalaureate. This year, we asked about qualified applicants. Associate and baccalaureate degree programs turned away over 700 qualified applicants. Handout 3 is the Mississippi Hospital Nursing Workforce data for 2023, and Table 1 is the reported RN, LPN, which is your licensed practical nurses, and CNA, certified nursing assistants, vacancies by public health region. And there are vacancies in every region in the state. In 2023, the RN turnover rate is 21.2%. Table 2 is trended RN vacancy rates as reported by hospitals and long-term care facilities that reported. We are still facing a shortage. There were 1,520 vacancies reported in 2023, with a reported 406 more needed over the next 2 years. Table 1 on handout 4 is faculty vacancies as reported by our nursing programs. After a consistent increase each year for 5 years, in fall 2024, the faculty vacancy rate did decrease from 33 to 22. Table 2 is licensure exam pass rate for Mississippi pre-licensure programs for the past 5 years. We have seen an increase in the number of first-time test takers for the past 3 years, with 2,118 first-time test takers in 2024. You can see that our Mississippi program graduates continue to perform better with a higher pass rate on the licensure exam than that of the national average. Handout 5 is a summary of out-of-state clinical placements, and this is the placement of nursing students in Mississippi facilities that are enrolled in programs located outside of Mississippi. This is a new element that we have begun to track in Mississippi because our programs do report shortage of clinical space and preceptors, which are critical to nursing education. Preceptors are nurses who work one-on-one with students, facilitating and monitoring learning and clinical experiences in the clinical environment at the undergraduate and the graduate level. There were more than 20 states representing more than 35 institutions placing students in nursing clinical practicum experiences in Mississippi during the 23-24 academic year. And there were more than 2,100 placements of students by out-of-state programs. Of the over 2,100 placements, 44% of those were not Mississippi residents. If you turn on the back, you'll see a table that breaks down the type of degree placements. The majority of placements are students that are enrolled in graduate programs. The second table is a list of some of the reported compensations that are provided to clinical agencies and or preceptors by these out-of-state programs. And you can see some programs are paying up to $800 to precept per student. That is a high-level look at the annual report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions? If not, Trustee Hubbard, do you have a motion?
I have one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay, now I would like to present the recommendations for accreditation for the schools of nursing for board approval. The approval of accreditation in Mississippi nursing degree programs is provided in the packet. During the 2024-2025 academic year, 3 schools of nursing had a state and national accreditation site visit. Today, I'm presenting findings based on the annual report as well as those accreditation site visits. Initial, full, and continuing accreditation for all programs is recommended with the exception of 4 schools of nursing representing 5 programs for continuing accreditation with conditions, with the reason and the condition listed on the next page. Condition requirements include the development of a performance improvement plan by June 30th and or a follow-up report. Additional monitoring requirements have been placed on programs that have not met one or more state-specific or national requirement. Board staff recommends approval of this item.
You have heard the recommendation. I make a motion to approve this item.
A motion and a second to approve item 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
Trustee Rader, motion passes. Dr. Presswood, if you'd proceed. Thank you.
Mr. President, at this point, I'd like to request that consideration of item number 4 on the agenda be delayed until the next regularly scheduled board meeting. By way of explanation, the various parties involved in this at the very highest level have begun discussions over the last week, which I very much appreciate. But considering the time of the year, I think it would be beneficial to have another 30 days for those discussions to ensue to see if there can be collaboration on these various matters.
All right, the request has been made to take this item from the agenda, which will make it come up at our next meeting. And if there's no further motion on that, then we'll move forward with the next item.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment. We understand, a trustee's privilege to, but, we fully intend to bring this to a vote next month. And
All right, thank you. Any further comments? Or if not,
Okay.
all right, that you may proceed.
All right,
Thank you.
The second item on the agenda contains requests for Mississippi State University to add baccalaureate level degree programs. Mississippi State requests the creation of the Bachelor of Applied Science and Construction Technology. This 120-hour degree program will build upon the Associate of Applied Science degrees in Construction Management, Electrical, HVAC, Welding, or other construction-related AAS degrees. This program is designed to prepare students for advancement within the construction management field by teaching successful graduates a wide range of marketable skills for effectively managing a construction project's function, schedule, scope, cost, safety, and quality from the project's beginning to its conclusion. No other institutions in Mississippi offer similar degree programs. Community college partners were surveyed, and it was determined that there is significant interest in offering a major to meet the needs of those seeking paths to management in the construction sector. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median annual wage for construction and building inspectors in Mississippi was approximately $55,000 as of May 2020. According to the BLS, the average annual salary for construction supervisors in Mississippi is approximately $74,000. Mississippi State requests the creation of the Bachelor of Applied Science in Weather and Environmental Science. This 120-hour degree program builds upon the Associate of Applied Science degrees as well as the Weather and Environmental Science Officer Military Occupation WX-15 to deliver a comprehensive education in weather forecasting, climate analysis, and human environmental interactions. Graduates will be well equipped for positions in military weather operations and civilian occupations such as climate change policy analyst, geoscientist, GIS technicians, and natural science managers. No other institutions in Mississippi offer similar degree programs. Mississippi State met with the administration at Keesler Air Force Base located in Biloxi. The 81st Training Group provides training to over 30,000 officers, airmen, and civilian employees on an annual basis. The leadership of Keesler, due to their longstanding relationship with the Geosciences Department, requested this specific BAS degree to not only meet the educational needs of the Air Force, but also to provide airmen a path for a baccalaureate degree that was complementary to the training provided on the base. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median annual salary for atmospheric scientists is approximately $92,000. And the median salary for an environmental scientist is approximately $78,000, and the median salary for a hydrologist is approximately $88,000. Mississippi State requests the creation of the Bachelor of Business Administration and Entrepreneurship. This 120-hour degree program prepares students for success as dynamic entrepreneurs and cultivates the skill and mindset needed to launch new ventures or lead innovation in existing businesses and family firms. Students with an earned degree in this area are better able to identify and execute business opportunities. Jackson State University, the University of Mississippi, and the University of Southern Mississippi offer similar degree programs. Entrepreneurship plays a vital role in the growth of the U.S. economy. The rise of e-commerce, digital entrepreneurship, and venture capital-backed startups allow entrepreneurship graduates to pursue careers beyond geographic constraints. Mississippi has a strong foundation of family-owned businesses, small enterprises, and agribusiness that contribute significantly to the economy. With small businesses making up most firms, there is a strong demand for entrepreneurs who can modernize and scale family firms, innovate in agriculture and rural business sectors, and contribute to local economic development efforts. According to College Factual, recent graduates in entrepreneurial studies have an average starting salary of $53,000. According to the 2025 Entrepreneurial Studies Degree Guide, graduates with a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship can expect starting salaries that vary widely, influenced by factors such as industry, job role, and geographic location. Board staff recommends approval of this item.
You've heard the recommendation. I make a motion to approve this item.
It's been a motion to approve. Is there a second? And a second, any discussion? If not, all in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
Trustee Rader,
Aye.
Dr. Presswood, if you'd proceed.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a request from Mississippi State University to add master's level degree programs. Mississippi State requests the creation of the Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence. This 31-hour degree program is intended for students who wish to innovate new artificial intelligence or machine learning-based solutions for emerging challenges and apply those techniques to problems in various fields. The program includes advanced computer science theory and artificial intelligence machine learning courses and allows exploration of application areas. Students may choose between non-thesis or the thesis option. No other institutions in Mississippi offer similar degree programs. The proliferation of AI technologies, including machine learning, natural language processing, robotics, and computer vision, has created a high demand for professionals with these skills. AI is not industry specific. It has applications in healthcare, automotive, finance, cybersecurity, and many other domains, diversifying the demand. Global demand has been increasing exponentially. This is not limited to specific geographic areas. Countries worldwide are investing in AI technologies. The expected salary and earning potential for students graduating with a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence falls within the range of $80,000 to $120,000, which is consistent with the earning potential of students graduating from other Master of Science degree programs in computer science. Mississippi State requests the creation of the Master of Science in Construction Management. This 30-hour degree program focuses on the advanced skills and managerial aspects of construction, which are in highest demand among working professionals. This degree program innovatively combines concepts and skills from many construction areas to enable learners to gain mastery of construction management concepts, along with practical, hands-on experience in using various methods with real-world data sets across many construction sectors. No other institutions in Mississippi offer similar degree programs. The construction industry in Mississippi and the broader United States is experiencing significant growth and transformation, creating a strong demand for professionals with advanced management skills. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are currently 1,330 construction managers working in Mississippi's construction sectors. Considering a regular growth rate of 4% over a 30-year period, there is an average need for an additional 68 new construction managers annually, not accounting for the higher than average age of the current workforce industry. Bachelor's graduates in construction management typically earn salaries ranging from about $77,000 to $89,000 annually, with entry-level positions around $55,000 to $70,000 per year. In contrast, Mississippi Master of Science graduates generally earn higher salaries between $94,000 and over $120,000 annually, with averages around $134,000 per year. Board staff recommends approval of these items.
You've heard the recommendation. I make a motion to approve this item.
Is there a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
Trustee Rader.
Aye.
Since the fourth item has been moved to the agenda for next month, Trustee Hubbard, do you have anything further for Academic Affairs regular agenda?
I do not, Mr. President. This concludes the Academic Affairs regular agenda.
Thank you, Trustee Hubbard and Dr. Presswood and Dr. Temple for your reports. At this time, we'll move to the finance portion of the agenda. So Trustee Parker, if you could please present the finance regular agenda.
Sure. We have 10 items on the regular agenda. 4 of these items are related to insurance policies for the IHL system. 3 are contracts related to UMMC and DSU, and 3 are related to approval of tuition and salaries for the fiscal year 2026. I'll call on John Pierce to discuss the specifics.
And before Mr. Pierce begins with those discussions, let the record reflect that Trustees Martin, Clark, and I are going to recuse ourselves from items 1 through 4 on the finance regular agenda. And Trustee Clark will also recuse himself from item 5 and 6. And Trustee Parker will lead the discussion in my absence. Thank you.
I suggest we take up items 1 through 4 as a group. John.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a request from the System Office to approve a property insurance coverage program with Affiliated FM Insurance Company for insurance coverage for the upcoming fiscal year. David Buford, the Director of Risk Management, will provide an overview of this item.
Good morning. I'm here with Jeff Estes. Jeff, you can come up here with me. I might get scared by myself. Jeff is our insurance broker. He negotiates and places our insurance for our property insurance program. See if I have well, I pushed the clicker and I may have messed it up. Okay, here we go. We're back on the PowerPoint. So I'd like to start with where we were a year ago. And so this time last year, we had significant rate increases with our property insurance. We more worrisome, we dealt with higher deductibles, substantially higher deductibles. The largest jump was from a $250,000 water loss deductible to a $2.5 million deductible. And so, of course, that puts more pressure on all the universities to have higher reserves and be able to cover those deductibles. The reasons for that jump last year was inflation. It was a national problem, as well as higher claims for insurance companies, and that was a national problem, but it was also a problem for us specifically. We had 2 claim years in a row with high losses. And so our insurer was hesitant and even provided a intent not to renew us last year. And so we continue to work with them. We're able to get a renewal, and the relationship is much stronger now. And here are some of the positive factors that our insurance company cared about that we've done with the board support and the work of so many people, staff at all of our universities and at IHL. But we use disaster mitigation contracts. And so these help us reduce the cost of responding to losses. And those typically have saved about 30% on the cost of response to an event. IHL has created and filled a Director of Facilities Maintenance position. This position is helping to develop maintenance plans so that we take care of our equipment and property on our campuses. There's a Gordian project that the board has supported and approved that y'all are aware of, but it is going to help us be good stewards of our property and make strategic decisions about how to best maintain and take care of our buildings. Of course, legislative funding is critical so that we can hire the quality staff and keep the quality staff that we have that take care of these buildings and respond to disasters. We've been very responsive to the concerns of our insurer, which is FM affiliated. For example, right now, someone from my staff is on a USM campus with USM staff, and a team of engineers from our insurer looking at improving the safety of our buildings. We've implemented software solutions. We have good data. This is important because if underwriters lack data, they make conservative assumptions that result in higher rates. We've had recent appraisals so that our insurer knows that our valuations are accurate. And probably most importantly, and the big difference is we've had no claims that have reached the deductible level this policy year. And so the big picture is that this is we're in a better place than we were a year ago. The challenge remains with the high deductibles. And now I'm going to let Jeff talk to us about the details of the renewal. So, Jeff.
Thanks, David. I appreciate everybody's time today. I want to preface my remarks. I'm going to make a few comments about the state of the property market, but I want to be clear. I'm really, when I make these comments today, I'm really talking about accounts that have over $1 billion of TIV. When you're comparing the entire system of IHL, we're close to a $15 billion account. And so what's happening on larger property accounts may not be happening on homeowners or smaller commercial business. So I just want to be clear about that. But the good news is we are seeing an increase in capacity and we are seeing an improvement in the property market. I mean, we've had 5 or 6 years where we've probably been in the most difficult property market of our career, but we are seeing more capacity, is just more insurance companies willing to write, more capital entering the market, which is good news. I still call it a bifurcated market. I want to make a little comment on this because when you see the pricing, you'll see what I'm talking about. But the admitted market, I view that more of the standard insurance market. Your carrier is FM affiliated, but think Travelers, Hartford, Liberty, Chubb. Most of these companies will put a big limit up at one time. Like FM affiliated provides IHL a $750 million limit. Other markets may put up a $500 million limit. On these type markets, we're seeing rates about flat to single digit. Severe convective storm, which I view as straight line winds, tornado, hail, winter freeze losses, accounts that have severe convective storm exposure are still challenging, which is really the big issue for us. I mean, our issue is, you know, Mississippi's leading the nation in tornadoes the last few years, so it's still our biggest concern. But that's one part of the market, which is our big partner, FM affiliated zone. And then when you think non-admitted market, think London, Bermuda, excess and surplus lines. They do more shared and layered policies. So instead of giving you a $750 million limit, they may provide 5% of a primary 10, and it may take 50 carriers to build the cover. Normally, these prices are more expensive on the front end, but we're seeing a lot better market for those accounts. So coastal accounts are getting much better renewals as we enter this season. We're seeing, premium reductions of anywhere from 10 to 20%. But we're still really not seeing a lot of relief on the percentage wind and hail deductibles. I think those are probably here to stay for a while. David mentioned your values. You know, I want to commend IHL and all the universities for undergoing an appraisal project over the last 3 or 4 years. We only had to trend the building values 1%. We trended the content values 2%. You can see we're almost at 15 billion of TIV, which is total insured values. That's the total value of all the properties. So we were up just shy of 4%, 3.78% in exposures. Our loss history, this has been somewhat of a challenge over the previous 2 years. When AFM increased the deductible, we've had a really good year this year, knock on wood, in 24, 25. But this is important. I mean, if you're paying out more losses than you're taking in premium, it puts pressure on our ability to negotiate, good rates. This year we've had a really good year. Overall, our loss ratio for a 5-year period is 52%. I've got a couple slides on the renewal summary. Overall, our premium's down about 1%. David mentioned the high water damage deductible. It was $2.5 million last year. We're able to lower it a little bit to $2.25 million. And then we've got a 3% wind and hail deductible. And then I'll talk about USM on another slide. A couple of renewal term changes. I just mentioned the water damage deductible. On the flood limit, we've got a combined $50 million limit for flood for Delta State and Mississippi Valley State University. I think the state of Mississippi also has a separate program for anybody wanting excess flood. And then there's a sublimit on a location at Mississippi State for $5 million. And some of that has to do with the flood zones have changed in those areas. And then for earthquake, we've got a $50 million sublimit around the New Madrid outer zone. That changed a little bit too, and that zone got a little wider. So we've got a couple more buildings located there. And then this is new. We've got a solar panel sublimit of $2 million. I think I've reached out to every university and we don't really have an exposure excess of that. But if anybody's looking for solar panels, we're going to need to know that. And we can get the cover. We just need to know about it on the front end. So this is the year over year comparison. FM is our big partner. That's where the majority of the premium goes. You can see that the premium's up 3.78%. The values were up that much. So we had a flat rate. The rate was 0.074 per 100 of TIV. That stayed the same. So we had a flat renewal. Mississippi State's got a smaller policy on the Gulf Coast. It was down 11%. And then Southern Miss, that's more of the layered and shared or the non-admitted type policy. Theirs is a little bit more expensive. Last year it was 2.4 million. We were able to improve that policy by 21% or over $500,000. And then all in all, on the three programs, we're down about 1% in premium and 5% in rate. So as David said, it's much better than where we were last year, but we still have the challenges of the deductibles with the 3% wind and hail and the water damage deductible. I'll give a little bit of insight of where I think maybe 2026 is heading. I mean, I think if we don't have a major hurricane anywhere in the U.S. this year, that I think markets will continue to improve. There seems to be capacity in the market. You're not the only account that has increased deductibles. So a lot of accounts now have increased deductibles. So insurance companies are making more money, which will get, there'll be some, people getting a little bit more aggressive trying to write business. And then really your big issue where I think you're a little bit higher than the market is your water damage deductible. And as David mentioned, that's because of the claim activity. I want to give David and John and their staff a lot of credit for what they've done, since we've had these water damage claims. There's been so much more pre and post loss mitigation that we're trying to get in and, not have the loss on the front end. And the last freeze loss, we had some small losses at Ole Miss, but where we had significant losses for similar temperatures everywhere else, we didn't have any losses. So, we need that to continue. If that continue, I would anticipate we'd be able to negotiate better deductibles. But I still think we'll challenge if the weather doesn't get better. I think the percentage wind and hail deductibles are probably here to stay for, the foreseeable future. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll continue to item number 2, and we'll take a vote on this at the end of item number 4. Item number 2 is a request from the system office to approve a cyber liability insurance policy for the IHL system with Lloyd's of London Beasley Syndicate. Beasley is our current provider. The policy provides breach response coverage, including expert assistance and access to contractors at pre-negotiated rates. The term is for 1 year at a premium of $520,000. The policy can be canceled with 60 days notice. IHL conducted a request for proposals in 2023 from 4 providers, and Beasley provided the only response. Item number 3 is also a request from the system office to purchase disaster response services with BMS CAT, Night Restoration, Leomine, North Star Recovery Services, Paul Davis, and Service Master Recovery Management for a 4-year term not to exceed $10 million. This agreement does not require institutions to use these vendors, but it does provide pre-negotiated rates and preferred client status in the event of an emergency. The institutions may engage one or more of these vendors in the event of a loss. This agreement may be terminated with 30 days notice. IHL conducted an RFP to select vendors and received 12 responses. The vendors recommended in this agenda item each met the minimum requirements based on cost, quality, and experience. Item number 4 is a request from the System Office to renew student health insurance policies with United Healthcare Student Services for students and student employees. The cost of the policies are $2,454 per policy for an estimated 3,200 insured students for a total premium of $7.9 million. IHL conducted an RFP in 2023 for these policies, and United Healthcare provided the best and lowest quote. This was on your agenda last month, but the policy price and the term were incorrectly stated in your agenda item, so this corrects that. Legal staff has reviewed the proposed agreement for compliance with applicable law and finds them to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of items number 1 through 4.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve items 1 through 4?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
motion carries. Bridget asked trustees Martin and Ogletree to return to the meeting. Let the record reflect that trustee Clark is recusing himself from items 1, 5, and 6 on the finance agenda and will remain out of the room. I suggest we take up items 5 and 6 as a group, John.
Thank you. Item number 5 is a request from the University of Mississippi Medical Center to lease 2,200 square feet of clinical space in Biloxi, Mississippi from CVDD LLC to operate a pediatric outpatient clinic. The term of the agreement is for 5 years at a cost of $400,000. This is a relocation of an existing clinic also located in Biloxi. The cost of the lease is $31.78 per square foot. Item number 6 is a request from the University of Mississippi Medical Center to lease 5,400 square feet of medical office space in Canton, Mississippi from Madison HMA LLC. This facility is located adjacent to UMMC's Madison campus. The term of the lease is for 1 year at a cost of $184,000. The cost of the lease space is $33.69 per square foot. This agreement can be terminated due to reduction of funds. Legal staff has reviewed the proposed agreement for compliance with applicable law and finds them to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of items number 5 and 6.
You've heard the recommendations. I'll make a motion to approve items 5 and 6.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
trustee Rader. All right. Bridget, if you'd ask trustee Clark to return to the room, please.
I recommend we take up item number 9 first, then take up items 7, 8, and 10 together as a group.
Thank you. So we will move to item number 9 on the agenda. Item 9 is a request from Delta State University to amend a bookstore management services agreement with Barnes & Noble College Booksellers, LLC, to adjust the price of the First Day Complete program and to extend the term for 1 year. The First Day Complete program provides all required course materials for students. The agreement will increase the cost by 50 cents per credit hour. The original agreement provides for an increase of cost due to inflation. Delta State selected Barnes & Noble through an RFP in 2020. Legal staff has reviewed the proposed agreement for compliance with applicable law and finds it to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of item number 9.
You've heard the recommendation, and I'll make a motion to approve item number 9.
There's been a motion to approve item 9. Is there a second? It's been a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard,
Aye.
Dr. Pierce, please proceed then. And the motion passes.
We will take up item number 7, 8, and 9 together as a group, and you have a PowerPoint with information on these items at your desk. Item number 7 is a request to approve the salary guidelines for fiscal year 2026. This is a requirement in your policy that all salary increases have to be approved under guidance from you. So what you're being asked to do is to approve the basis by which salary increases can be awarded. And we're recommending meritorious performance market adjustments and faculty staff promotions. So this does not require a salary increase at any campus, but should one be offered, it must be justified by these criteria. We're also recommending that salary increase decisions be made at the discretion of the commissioner for the board office or the IEO for the campuses. Item number 8 is request for approval of tuition, room, and board rates. You have at your desk a packet that looks like this that has each of the rates provided for you, along with some summary information and some comparisons. So I'll provide a summary of the information in this packet. So the first is the 2026 resident tuition increase. You can see that several of the institutions are not recommending an increase. This is due to cost and competitive situations for these campuses. For Jackson State University, there's a 6% increase. One of the items, line item here, is for campus safety. For Mississippi State University, increase in inflation and a new contract management software system. For the University of Mississippi, for salaries, and for University of Southern Mississippi for promotions and a cybersecurity program. You'll notice on the non-resident tuition request that for several of the institutions, all the regional institutions, the non-resident tuition rate is the same as the resident tuition rate. This is based on a waiver that had previously been approved by the board beginning in 2013 as the institutions brought these requests before the board. Jackson State University and the University of Southern Mississippi have reduced non-resident rates as well, but these are not the same as the resident tuition rate. There's a premium applied there. Mississippi State University and the University of Mississippi have a full non-resident rate. The next few slides cover your professional schools and graduate schools. These are items that are being requested for a specific tuition rate. Most of these are driven by the market. I'll not cover most of these, but if you have questions on these, I'll be happy to try to address them. I would like to point out on slide 19, when we look at the University of Mississippi's non-resident tuition rate for professional schools, you'll see the School of Law has a large increase and the School of Pharmacy has a large increase. This is due to some declines in enrollment in these programs over the last few years and trying to bring the pricing at a more competitive level. On the next slide, slide 20, would point out for the University of Mississippi Medical Center, the School of Medicine, and the School of Dentistry are also requesting a decrease in non-resident tuition. For the School of Dentistry, this is related to an agreement with the University of Arkansas to provide 2 spaces for a collaborative program, because there's not a School of Dentistry in Arkansas. And then the School of Medicine is to be in line with the School of Dentistry, but the School of Medicine only accepts Mississippi residents, so this really has no effect. This would just be a published rate. On slide 21, for the student activity fee, capital improvement fee, technology fee request, and the new student health and wellness fee, in your policy, you define tuition as the comprehensive charge to all students required as a condition of enrollment. And so while we're using the terminology of fee here, this really meets the definition of tuition according to your policy. So all of the tuition rates that you saw before, this should be added to that for a sum, which would be tuition as defined by your policy. What's happening here is you have approved specific agenda items, one of which will be number 10 for the new fee at Jackson State. And the tuition that is collected for these items can only be used for the purposes in those items. So it would not be able to be transferred for some other purpose. We're also requesting approval for the room rates. In your packet, you will see that every residential facility at every campus requires specific approval. We're providing the average for you here. A notable feature of our student room rates is that debt service for the construction of most of the facilities are required here. So a lot of this is reflecting that. You'll see the University of Mississippi with the largest amount of increase at 6%. This is based on the information provided from the Gordian study that the board heard yesterday and identifying needs and improvements for some of their auxiliary facilities. You're also approving each specific meal plan request. So you will have those in your packet. What we're showing here is the most expensive plan. Delta State has the largest increase. This is due to a contractual provision. The plan, especially during COVID, got below the volume threshold, and so a larger increase was triggered. Next year, the contract provides for a 0% increase. So as we look at our residential tuition and fee rates, as we consider, whether what's being requested of you to approve is appropriate, we generally look to our contiguous states, and we continue to be at the bottom of that. We're slightly higher than Arkansas for 2024. But when we look at the University of Alabama system, we're several percentage points lower than there in Tennessee. When we look at our peer groups, so this is a table of peers which meet the same classification categories in contiguous states, so SREB1 and SREB4 institutions. All of our institutions are in the bottom half of this comparison. One thing that is notable here, if you can read the print, Mississippi State University, which is in red furthest to the right, which is the highest tuition rate, but right next to it is Alabama A&M, which is higher, Louisiana Tech. We see the University of West Alabama even higher than that, which are schools that are offering a less comprehensive instructional and research portfolio. So we think our institutions are very competitive compared to their regional and contiguous state peers. So with the lower tuition rates, the question is, well, how is that managed? And typically it's managed through what we're able to compensate our faculty salaries. This compares our system to the SREB, which is the standard region, but it's a large region. It goes from Delaware to Oklahoma, Texas, up to Kentucky. So in that comparison, we are just at 77% of our peers. We have the contiguous state comparison. We're about 11% lower than our contiguous states. One thing that's important about this slide is if we looked at this last year, we were at 80% of the SREB median compensation. And so while the legislature, the board, has been requesting more appropriations for salary increases, really over the last 5 years, the legislature has been very generous in giving that, and the institutions have been providing salary increases. But even with that, we're continuing to lose ground relative to our peers. In dollar terms, this looks like our nearest peer, which is Arkansas. There's about an $8,900 premium on faculty compensation compared to our SREB1 institutions, the higher being at the University of Alabama system, which is almost a $20,000 difference in compensation. Finally, we come to item number 10. This is a request from Jackson State University to approve the new student health and wellness fee that you saw in the previous slide. This will be used for staffing at the Student Health Care Center, for technology, and for mental health services. The university also expects to use this to improve their healthcare facilities, and they will raise $963,000 with this fee. Board staff recommends approval of items number 7, 8, and 10. And on items number 8 and 10, the board staff recommends a waiver of the 30-day review period required by Board Policy 702.04C for the approval of tuition and moves adoption for final approval.
You've heard the recommendations. I'll make a motion to approve items 7, 8, and 10.
Been a motion to approve these items. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Trustee Parker, does this conclude the?
This concludes finance agenda.
Thank you. Trustee Cunningham, we're going to move to the real estate agenda. If you would please present it for us.
Sure thing. There are 6 items on the real estate agenda today. I will ask Mr. Brad Rowland to present these items for the board's consideration.
And before those items are presented, if the record would reflect that Trustee Clark and I are recusing ourselves from items 1 through 4. Trustee Clark will also recuse himself from items 5 and 6 on the regular agenda. And Trustee Cunningham, if you would lead the discussion in my absence. Thank you.
Trustee Cunningham, I recommend that we take up items numbers 1 through 4 as a group, and then items number 5 and 6 separately.
Okay, well, let's please proceed with items 1 through 4.
Okay, thank you. Item number 1 is a request from Alcorn State University for HVAC improvements on the HERF project for Burris Hall. The request is to increase the project budget from $2 million to $2,034,520.52. This budget increase is needed based on design professionals' increased cost estimates. The scope of the project includes replacing the existing air-cooled chiller that uses R22 refrigerant, the existing boilers, and the existing chilled heating water pump. Item number 2 is also a request from Alcorn State University on HVAC improvements with the HERF project for the Walter Washington building. This request is to increase the project budget from $3,628,780 to $5,594,615.04. This cost increase is also based on the professional's latest cost estimates. The scope of the project includes replacing the 6 existing air handler units, variable air volume boxes, and all building exhaust fans. Item number 3 is a request from Alcorn State University for HVAC improvements for HERF on Robinson Hall. This is to increase the project budget from $2 million to $3,995,186.03. The increase is based on design professionals' latest cost estimates as well. The scope of the project includes replacing 3 existing multi-zone air handling units, related supply ducts, and all building exhaust fans. Item number 4 is HVAC improvement HERF for Burris Hall Phase B. This has increased the project budget from $3,545,324 to $5,521,600 for an increase of almost $2 million. The project cost estimate is needed to be increased due to the professional's latest cost estimates, and the scope of the project includes replacing the 6 existing multi-zone air handling units, 1 single-zone air handling unit, related supply ducts, and all building exhaust fans. The board staff recommends approval of items number 1 through 4.
You've heard the recommendations. Is there a motion to approve items 1 through 4? Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard
Aye.
and Trustee Rader is no longer with us, correct? Okay. Bridget, please ask President Ogletree to return. Let the record reflect that Trustee Ogletree is returning to the meeting and Trustee Clark will remain out of the room for items 5 and 6. Brad, please proceed with presenting item 5.
Thank you, Trustee Cunningham. Item number 5 is a request from Alcorn State University on HVAC improvements heard for the Math and Science Building. This request is to modify the scope of the project. On August 17, 2023, 2 JOC projects were initiated with the board, upgrading the heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems in the Math and Science Building. The project was initially approved by the board as 2 separate project initiations. Since the projects were initiated, it has been determined that combining the individual projects into a single project with a modified scale-down scope of work would optimize budget efficiency. The revised project scope now includes selective replacement of HVAC equipment. The project budget will also decrease from $9,909,281 to $5,311,718.74. Board staff recommends approval of this item.
You've heard the recommendation. I make a motion to approve item number 5.
It's been a motion to approve item 5. Is there a second? It's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Ms. Rowland, please proceed.
Thank you, Trustee Ogletree. Item number 6 is a request from Mississippi State University for approval to enter into an agreement with Andercorp LLC for construction manager advisor services related to the Wise Center renovation and additions. Given the complexity of the renovations and additions at an animal hospital that operates 24 hours a day, 365 a year, with the concurrent phases of construction, MSU further requests approval to negotiate and incorporate supplemental and additional services that become necessary during the project and make other project required modifications to the contract as long as any supplementary or additional services remain within the project budget approved by the board. Andercorp LLC will provide pre-construction services, which consist of program evaluation, budget development, constructability reviews, project phasing, coordination, scheduling, cost estimating, and generation of bid packages for multiple prime contractors. The project currently has 2 phases, an A and a B, that will likely overlap during construction. In Phase A, it's a 24,000 farm animal hospital addition on the south side of the Y Center and a relocated 3,600 square foot building receiving entrance on the east side of the Y Center. Phase B includes the Nancy Fairlink Lemonitis Research Center addition, which will connect to the southeast corner of the Y Center. The contract will commence upon execution and will expire 1 year from the date of substantial completion of the project. MSU estimates the total cost of Andercorp's services will be approximately $3,210,000. Legal staff has reviewed this item for compliance with applicable law and found it to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of this item.
You've heard the recommendation. I make a motion to approve item number 6.
Been a motion to approve this item. Is there a second? Been a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, if all in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Bridget, if you would ask Trustee Clark to return to the meeting.
Mr. President, this concludes the real estate regular agenda.
Thank you, Trustee Cunningham. Today I have double duty. I'm serving as both board president as well as the outgoing chair of the legal committee, but only for today. Later in today's meeting, the board will approve committee chairs for the future, and the new chair will take over after this meeting. The only item on the legal regular agenda is the adoption of a new board policy. House Bill 1193, passed by the Mississippi Legislature this year in the 2025 regular session, requires our IHL board to adopt a process by which students, faculty, staff, and contractors may file a complaint with the IHL board alleging that their university has violated provisions of this House bill. So pending before the board today is a proposed board policy 1112, which would implement this requirement of the legislature. If the board approves this proposed policy, it will be published with the Secretary of State for public comment as required by the Mississippi Administrative Procedures Act. At a later meeting, the board will give consideration to the final adoption of this policy. Because the board needs to obtain legal advice from its attorney regarding to how the proposed policy would comply with state and federal law, is there a motion to move this item to executive session portion of the agenda, during which time the board can receive this confidential legal information? Motion, is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
This concludes the legal regular agenda. So Dr. Rankins, if you'd please present the administrative and policy regular agenda.
Thank you, President Ogletree. Item number 1 is a request for the approval of your committee appointments for your term as president of the IHL Board. All trustees are members of these committees. This item is presented for your consideration.
Okay, is there a motion to approve item number 1, the committees, chairs? Been a motion, is there a second? Been moved and seconded, is there any discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Dr. Rankins, please proceed.
Item 2 is a request to approve the appointment of Trustee Teresa Hubbard and to reappoint Dr. Mark Keenum to the Mississippi Post-Secondary Education Financial Assistance Board. This board administers all state-supported student financial aid programs like the Mississippi Resident Tuition Assistance Grant and the Mississippi Eminent Scholars Grant. The IHL Board is authorized by statute to appoint 1 trustee and 1 institutional representative. Trustee Cunningham currently serves on the Post-Secondary Board and has requested to be replaced. IHL Board is requested to appoint Trustee Hubbard to complete his term, which runs through June 30th, 2026. IHL Board approval is also requested to reappoint President Keenum to serve a 4-year term beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2029. These appointments are presented for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve item number 2? Been a motion, is there a second? Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
A motion passes. Dr. Rankins, please proceed.
Item 3 is a request for the approval to update the membership of the Mississippi University Research Authority. MURA, as it's commonly called, issues state-level conflict of interest waivers to allow university faculty to commercialize research and create companies related to these university projects. By virtue of the Mississippi Code, the Vice President of the IHL Board serves on the MURA Board, with terms of new IHL Board officers beginning earlier this month. Vice President Stephen Cunningham should be appointed to the MURA Board. Also, a personnel change at Jackson State University requires the appointment of Dr. Almisha Campbell, the Vice President of Research and Economic Development, to the MURA Board. These appointments are presented for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve item 3? It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second for item 3. Is there any discussion? Not, if all in favor would say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
Motion passes.
President Ogletree, this concludes the administration and policy regular agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Rankins. Next are the informational agendas. Dr. Rankins?
Are there any questions from trustees regarding items on the information agenda? If not, thank you, President Ogletree. At this time, trustees, if you will indulge me, I would like to briefly discuss an issue that is perpetually debated, and that is the value of a college education. I have about 50 slides, and I'll try to be brief. We all know the benefits of higher education, like higher income, employability, and employment advancement opportunities. However, as operational costs increase and drive tuition increases, the cost of higher education and student debt are more heightened public concerns. Additionally, the not all jobs require a college degree narrative has gained more attention. The question for potential students, parents, policymakers, and the public in general is, what is the return on the investment for college education? Admittedly, the higher education sector in general needs to do a better job in communicating higher education's value proposition. Recent data from the National Center for Education Statistics clearly shows the earning potential for workers 25 to 34 increases with higher levels of education attainment. When compared to only having a high school diploma, earnings increase by 59% with bachelor's degrees and 92% with master's degrees or higher. With respect to the cost of attending college, Able and Dietz report that although direct college costs have slightly declined since 2017, opportunity costs, meaning the loss in earnings while attending college, have increased. Thus, the total cost of attending college is on the rise. Although the cost to attend college is on the rise, Able and Dietz further report the college wage premium remains at an all-time high. They report an approximately $30,000 a year wage increase with a college degree when compared to just having a high school diploma. The wage premium for a college graduate is on the rise. However, the cost of going to college is also on the rise. So what is the return on investment? They further report a slightly above 12% return on the investment in a college education. I think most investors would be satisfied with the 12+% return from their investment portfolio. So, is college still worth it? I think these data suggest that it is. We hear about some areas of study not being worthy of that investment, but Able and Dietz highlight that although there is a higher return on investment in some academic fields like engineering with an 18% return on investment, across a wide array of academic disciplines, there is still a positive return on that investment. So I think the answer to the question is, I think a college education is still worth it. Lastly, I want to announce that we recently launched our new website, President Ogletree, on May 8th. The target audience for our new site is the general public, media, elected officials, and university officials. The content has been slimmed down tremendously to make the site more efficient, intuitive, and easy to navigate. It is also more secure and ADA compliant. So please visit our new website at your leisure. President Ogletree, I will defer going through my other 40 slides because I've been informed that President Keenum has to get back to Stark for 2 commencement exercises today. So President Ogletree, thank you for allowing me this time on the agenda.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Rankins. We hope to be able to present other topics of interest at board meetings in the future that would deal with higher education, and would welcome any of your suggestions as to those We may not take your suggestions, but we welcome them. And we also want to thank John Sewell and his team who have worked so hard to launch the new website that Dr. Rankins just mentioned. It's very good. I've spent some time on it. I hope y'all will as well. I know that it will be helpful to our public at large. Are there any additional agenda items to be considered? Is there any other business for us to discuss? If not, the next meeting of the IHL Board will be June 19th, 2025 at Delta State University. We look forward to visiting Delta State and having the board meeting there. Is there a motion to close the meeting to determine the need for an executive session? The motion, is there a second? Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Trustee Hubbard?
Aye.
So anyone not needed for executive session should leave the room or disconnect, and the visitors are welcome to wait in the lobby. Trustees, if you would please give us a minute to make sure the appropriate participants are connected. Thank you.